Now we're on to la pasta. Now there really is no recipe for making fresh pasta. It's all in the hands. See. So now she's going to mix it up with her fingers. She's going to break up the eggs and the egg whites and egg yolks before she starts bringing in that flour. Now you've seen me do this hundreds of times on the show, how to make fresh pasta. And granted, this takes time. This takes time, but the end result is so wonderful, so much very different from commercially prepared pasta. So once she knows that she's got those eggs all broken up, and this is a procedure that, you know, the first time you try it, you might find that the eggs are going all over and you don't have control of keeping the eggs with the flour. But after you do it several times, you'll get the hang of it. So she uses her hands now to get this into a nice soft ball of dough. E si usa un po' di acqua qua, sì?
Sì, giusto un poco, perché ci ho messo già 2 uova, hai capito?
Sì. She put in a little bit of water now, apart from the basic dough, and she's going to mix that in. Si usa un po' di semolina?
Su, chi ce la vuole mettere ce la mette, ma ci stanno già le uova.
Ok,
hai capito?
Sì.
La semolina si mette nei cappelletti perché è meno uova, mentre qua ci stanno già le uova che già sostiene la farina, capito?
Sì. She said she didn't put the semolina in here because the eggs are enough to absorb the flour, but if she were making a different kind of pasta, like cappelletti, she would use the semolina. Un bel colore, giallo. Sì, molto giallo. See, that is a pretty stiff dough. Okay. Now, if you don't want to do this, you're going to the store and you're buying a good imported pasta, because with this pasta, si usa per tagliatelle.
Queste sono le tagliatelle.
Okay, so she's going to make tagliatelle, which are just ribbons, or what we know as fettuccine, different names for pasta in different parts of Italy. Più farina, si non attacca. So she's using a little bit more flour so it doesn't stick to the board. And you notice she's doing this on a wooden board because this gives you a little bit of grab when you need to roll out pasta dough. It has to be on something that isn't slippery so you can have control over the dough. Perché questo è la tradizione
nostra campana,
sì.
E le fanno solo in Emilia Romagna, così.
Sì.
Hai capito? Possono fare questa pasta così in casa.
So she says the younger generation does not make pasta anymore, but they do make pasta like this in Emilia Romagna. She allows it to rest for a few minutes. That's really important because you want to allow the gluten in the dough to kind of relax. It's going to allow you to roll the dough a lot simpler and easier. And she uses the mattarello, the rolling pin. This is a traditional looking rolling pin that was used by women of her era to make pasta. And you need to roll this out very thin. She told me that this is pasta that she's going to use to make the tagliatelle. Basta così, sì. E la pasta deve essere molto sottile, molto sottile. So she has to roll it so that it is very, very thin. It rolls up on the pin, and now we go right into that process of, and if you can, this is something that you have to grow up with. It's like learning to ride a bicycle. And once you have the art, you never forget it. And that slapping noise against the wooden board is very familiar. I remember my grandmother's doing this and my mother doing this. The way the dough is slapped against the board. And you see how it's getting thinner and thinner as she does that. E si può asciugare questa pasta e si usa dopodomani?
Sì. Si mette tutta bella diritta in modo e si può asciugare.
Sì. What I asked her was if she made this today, she could allow it to dry and she could use it tomorrow. So if you wanted to make homemade pasta but you wanted to do it ahead of time, you could. But you have to make sure that if you're going to use it a few days later, that it's absolutely dry, because if you don't, you run the risk of bacteria because of the raw eggs that are in the dough. But when it is brittle dry, you can save homemade pasta for weeks, actually for months. Just wrap it very loosely in some aluminum foil and keep it somewhere. So now this is beginning to look really beautiful. And because she is using this wooden board, you see, it has a lot of ridges in it. And that's going to cause the pasta to have its own ridges. And why is that important? Because that's what the sauce is going to stick to. In other words, this is not going to be a really smooth feeling pasta. It's going to have ridges and lines, very important for holding the sauce. It's not only very mesmerizing, but it's very melodic. And if you've grown up in an Italian home, this is comfort food at its finest.
Sì, per la tagliatella deve essere un poco più sottile,
Okay.
capito?
She needs to make it a little thinner, she's saying. You notice she's not using much flour at all.
Bene?
Sì, sì, bellissima.
Brava?
Brava signora, brava.
Adesso facciamo un altro movimento. Aspetta,
Aspetta,
Le tagliamo.
aspetta.
le tagliamo.
Sì, sì, sì. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, bellissimo.
Trova un vassoio poco lungo alla tinta. Là. I vassoi come questi. Oppure, aspetta, Marilena, quei vassoi d'acciaio inossidabili che stanno nel soggiorno. Per mettere,
Ok.
perché non si possono mettere uno sull'altro, se no poi si attaccano, hai capito?
Sì.
Va bene così?
E anche si mette così sul legno
No, no.
per asciugare, no?
Sì, però dopo vengono guarda, si rompono.
Sì, per asciugare.
Sì, ma no, noi
No.
la facciamo, poi la mettiamo
Ok.
sul tovagliolo a asciugare per una
Sì,
mezz'ora, poi
sì.
le tagliamo.
Ah,
Adesso che dobbiamo fare questa prova, non c'è il tempo per asciugare, hai capito?
Sì, sì, sì.
Perciò
sì.
le tagliamo prima.
Sì,
Ma vanno
sì.
bene lo stesso, non ti
Sì, sì.
preoccupare.
I was telling her that if I dry it, I usually put it over a dowel rod in my kitchen. But she's going to do it her way, and that's the best way. Okay. I think this is enough for me.
Bene?
Sì, bene.
Pastificio rum.
Sì, 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 sì. How fast is that when you know what you're doing?
Fatto?
Fatto.
Allora.
Fatto.
Fatto, poi
Okay.
facciamo
Okay, now we're on to the orecchiette,
le orecchiette
which
adesso.
means little ears in Italian.
Allora, facciamo come facciamo?
Molto lavoro. Molto lavoro. This is a lot of work, and it's a dying art. Nobody does this today. But you see how easy it is for her. E tu hai fatto questa pasta quando lei era giovane, sì?
La piccola.
Piccola. Quanti
E
anni?
mamma mia è morta, noi eravamo tutti piccoli,
Sì.
ci dovevamo adattare a fare tutto.
Sì.
Poi il periodo della guerra,
Sì.
pasta non si ne trovava e noi facciamo da piccola, avevo 10 anni. Non
10
arrivava alla tavola, mettevo lo scannetto e
She wasn't as high as the
capito?
table when she started making pasta. You see, so
non
this,
ci stava pasta in casa
this
e
is,
si faceva la pasta di casa.
sì, sì.
Era,
So,
era il periodo della guerra.
sì, it was the period of the war. So this is something that is wonderful for us to see because it's no longer done by many people, and probably it has been passed on to her children, and hopefully they will continue this tradition of making the orecchiette. E si usa la salsa di pomodori solo per orecchiette?
È come quello.
Sì, sì, la stessa salsa.
stessa salsa.
Okay, so we're going to use
Si
the
possono
same
fare
sauce.
anche con i broccoli di rape.
Oh, sì, 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 broccoli.
Con alla pugliese.
Pugliese, sì, she's
Hai
saying, you
capito?
know, in Puglia they use it with broccoli rabe, or broccoli rape, to make the orecchiette. So each one done on her thumb. Oh, I see, she turned it inside out. That's what I didn't get. All right, first it's forward and then it's inside out. Forward on her thumb and then inside out over her finger. And that's what gives you that shape, you see, of the little ear. And why? Well, I mean, it does look like a little ear, but also the sauce gets trapped into that little cave. So once you make them, if you're going to do this, you have to let them sit for about a half hour before you cook them.